Nowadays, SpongeBob loves to make episodes that feel like puzzles. The kind that mess with your head, where halfway through, you're not sure if you're missing something or if the show is. And this is one of those episodes. A 40-minute special that tries to play with SpongeBob's entire history and ends up playing with your head instead. Characters switch places, memories shift, time unravels. And by the end of it all, nobody, not even me, remembers how the world got fixed. But maybe that's the point. The episode is completely unsolvable, unless you stop seeing it as a story, but as a statement. The episode itself starts simple enough. SpongeBob and Patrick floating down a lazy river, drinking smoothies out of cocktail glasses. Nothing new, just two best friends doing something dangerously stupid. But then 5 seconds later, the ride gets out of hand, and they wind up injured. Classic. Turns out it was just another ride at Glove World called Contusion Falls. I guess that explains the injuries. But it's fine, they got what they wanted. Another souvenir photo to stick inside SpongeBob's scrapbook. They start reminiscing about the old days, walking down the memory lane of iconic episodes until they realize something's off. Every picture he flips through starts changing. The golden moments we know, the ripped pants, Neptune's spatula, the help wanted anchovy rush, all start replacing SpongeBob with Patrick's family. The photo where SpongeBob ripped his pants? Suddenly, it's Patrick's dad, Cecil. The moment he pulled Neptune's golden spatula? Now it's Bunny Star, Patrick's mom. Even the very first Krusty Krab photo, SpongeBob's first day at work, is now replaced with GrandPat flipping patties for Mr. Krabs.
It means something terrible is going on. We have to get to your parents' house.
And that's how we meet the real culprits, Patrick's reboot family. But before we go any further, I know some of you are already confused. Like, that's Patrick's parents now? Aren't they pink? He has a grandpa now? Yeah, there's been a lot of lore expansion lately. So for those who don't really watch modern SpongeBob or the Patrick Star Show, I'm just gonna lore dump a little bit here. See, back in the early seasons, Patrick's parents were Margie and Herb Star, two identical looking sea stars we saw in episodes like I'm with Stupid and Rules of Dumb. He also had a sister, Sam Star, who showed up in Big Sister Sam. But since the Patrick Star Show spin-off, that whole family's been redesigned, or expanded in this case. Now we've got Bunny and Cecil as his parents, GrandPat as the retired maniac upstairs, and Squidina as his other sister. Yeah, I'm not kidding. This purple squid is somehow Patrick Star's little sister. Why? I don't know. But since she's best friends with Pearl, maybe it's a Pearl Krabs kind of situation. Who knows? Might be worth another theory video. Anyway, in short, we get a rewrite of Patrick's entire lineage. And once you realize the Star family literally replaced SpongeBob's history, things start to feel really wrong. Because every single photo that changes is a timeline twist-up. SpongeBob and Patrick rush to Patrick's parents' house to figure out what's happening. But when they get there, everything's already trashed. The kitchen is overrun with garbage, the toaster's gone feral and starts barking, and when they run upstairs, the family pet, Tinkle, tries to eat them. They manage to lock it up and decide to continue searching upstairs in Patrick's room, only to find out that the real culprit behind this mess is Patrick's time machine. It's called the Time Closet, a weird contraption that doesn't follow any real logic, it just does time travel. In the Patrick Star Show, it's been used in tons of episodes to send the family anywhere, anytime. But this time, it's gone even worse than you can imagine. It swallows Patrick's family, reshuffles the past, and turns SpongeBob's scrapbook into a glitching multiverse of bad memories. From here on, things only get stranger. Squidina's hiding nearby and tells them the closet has been malfunctioning for weeks. It already swallowed the rest of her family, all caused by their own shenanigans, of course. And before she can finish explaining, the closet eats her too. So SpongeBob and Patrick are now alone in a house full of broken timelines, chased by a sentient door that loves cookies. And that's just the first quarter. The next part starts with SpongeBob and Patrick trying to hunt the time closet, like it's a xenomorph. They even start taking advice from a talking door named Dutch. But before he can finish teaching them about the doors of perception, the time closet eats him too. I'm not making this up, by the way. His last line was something like,
Unlocking the potential of...
chomp, gone. So SpongeBob comes up with a brilliant plan to outwit the time closet with a door pun. When is a door not a door? When it's ajar. And somehow, this joke works. The closet literally stops mid-attack to laugh, and then they nail it to the wall like it's IKEA furniture. That's when SpongeBob figures it out. For whatever reason, his scrapbook is connected to the time closet. Every photo that changes means someone's been replacing him in the past. So, he decides, if the closet can rewrite history, maybe it can fix it too. He presses a few buttons, and the closet opens a portal to rock bottom. That's where Squidina got lost. We see her drop right into SpongeBob's old nightmare episode, surrounded by those terrifying deep-sea creatures. Except this time, instead of SpongeBob struggling to catch the bus, it's Squidina hanging out with delinquent rock-bottom teens and filming prank videos. Basically, she turned the rock bottom episode into a TikTok collab. Right when Squidina is flying with the glove balloon, SpongeBob and Patrick manage to pull her back through the closet, which somehow fixes her photo in the scrapbook. Now pay attention to that fixes part, because it's the very source of this whole time confusion that will come later. But for now, instead of solving the time paradox, they just move on to the next one. The next stop is Goo Lagoon. This is where Patrick's dad, Cecil, replaces SpongeBob during the Ripped Pants episode. He crashes a performance, rips his own pants, and somehow becomes a fashion icon. He started a fashion business called Ripped Cecil. And yeah, the ripped part works both ways now. Ripped pants, ripped body. The whole thing has commercials, runways, fans chanting his name. Then when the fame turns on him, the crowd revolts, and right before they tear him apart, Cecil rips himself in two. And then SpongeBob pulls him out of the timeline. That's 2 down, 2 photos fixed. But the next timeline problem takes things to a whole new level. In the Neptune Spatula episode, Bunny Star, Patrick's mom, takes SpongeBob's place and accidentally becomes King Neptune's royal chef. She makes boot noodle soup, poisons Neptune, then becomes the new guardian of the ocean with Neptune's trident. She literally replaces a god and performs quite well, actually. People started to love her after she saved them from 3 consecutive natural disasters. Eventually, Neptune gets jealous, challenges her to a god-off, and loses, eaten by a kraken in front of a live audience, complete with callback jokes from the original Neptune Spatula episode. SpongeBob just casually rescues Bunny, fixes the photo again, and moves on like nothing happened. But does this mean the ocean has no king anymore? And finally, the last missing star, GrandPat. The episode flashes back to Help Wanted, except this time, GrandPat gets the job instead of SpongeBob. He gets to make a Krabby Patty but decides to sell it to Plankton, and by some cosmic accident, GrandPat ends up stealing Plankton's plan and taking over the world, launching a global fast food empire called GrandPatties. So GrandPat actually manages to execute Plankton's dream plan without fail, huh? That means Plankton's problems were always about a lack of skill. The White House? GrandPatties. The Eiffel Tower? GrandPatties. And Bikini Bottom is practically in the palm of his hand. SpongeBob and Patrick try to stop him, but fail. They get thrown in jail, and the entire world continues to collapse. But get this, somehow they're watching all of it happen on the time closet monitor before they even do it, which shouldn't be possible. So SpongeBob panics, especially after seeing GrandPat's apocalypse already leaking into the present timeline. But Squidina gets a better idea. They rewind the timeline even further to the beginning of the episode. SpongeBob gives his past self the aerodynamic spatula, tells him he's ready, and restores history. They also manage to snatch GrandPat right before he gives the Krabby Patty to Plankton. And just like that, everything resets. The scrapbook returns to normal, the photos are fixed, the world is back to the Bikini Bottom that we know. Oh, wait, they forgot about Granny Tentacles. She is now the ruler of Grannyville, commanding an army of Squidwards. I'll take that as a happy ending. Or maybe not, because if you look at everything that just happened, lots of things didn't actually make any sense. Some of these timelines never got fixed properly, and yet all the photos are magically restored like none of it ever happened, which means the time closet isn't just a time machine, it's something much bigger. To understand what's actually wrong with this episode, it's easier if we walk backward. Let's start at the end, the GrandPat apocalypse. SpongeBob and Patrick try to stop him at the end, fail, get thrown in jail, and the world falls apart. Simple enough. But here's the weird part. Before any of that actually happens, SpongeBob and Patrick are already watching it unfold through the time closet monitor. So they're seeing the future before they even cause it. How does that make any sense? They haven't done anything yet. Unless the moment they look at it is what makes it actually happen. Like, by observing the future, they just created it. Which means the closet can rewrite the timeline remotely. Basically, it's Schrodinger's episode. The timeline exists because SpongeBob watched it break. After that, there's the photo fixes problem. Every time SpongeBob saves someone, that photo in the scrapbook magically resets, like the timeline's healed. Well, that would make sense if they'd actually gone back and fixed things the same way every time. But they didn't. Only the GrandPat apocalypse got a real rewind. They went all the way back and stopped him before anything changed. The other three? Not even close. Think about it. SpongeBob and Patrick only caught up with those three after all the changes had already been made. Cecil's ripped pants fashion show already happened. That means there was never a ripped pants concert from SpongeBob. Bunny defeats Neptune and destroys his trident. That means SpongeBob never had a cook-off in the Poseidome. Even the ocean doesn't have a ruler now. Squidina also gets through the end scene of flying with the glove balloon, meaning Rock Bottom's version of SpongeBob never existed. Yet the scrapbook still resets perfectly, like it's cherry-picking what counts as real. So either this closet is juggling multiple timelines at once, or SpongeBob's scrapbook is the only reality that matters. Which would mean in this world, memories are stronger than reality. Once SpongeBob believes the past is fixed, the world just goes along with it. And that's when everything really starts to fall apart. Cause and effect, totally gone. Normally, time travel works like this. You change something in the past, a ripple spreads through time, you see the consequences, and then you fix it by undoing the ripple. Think Back to the Future, right? Marty changes one event and you can watch his family photo fade out. That's a timeline reacting to a change. But in this episode, the effects show up before the cause. SpongeBob and Patrick are already failing to stop him, while they're still trying to stop him. They haven't even failed yet, but the failure's already baked into reality. It's like the moment they even think about it, the future updates instantly. Just click, new universe. One possibility is that instead of working in a straight timeline, the machine works in recursive fashion. Every time they make a move, the entire timeline rewrites itself on the spot. It may have something to do with double characters in the same timeline, because technically, there should have been two versions of everyone running around in the past. I mean, if GrandPat went back to the past and ruled the world in that timeline, shouldn't they have two GrandPats there? But we've never seen both of these characters meet each other except SpongeBob in Help Wanted. It's like the world can't handle two versions of anyone at once, so it just picks one and deletes the other. SpongeBob only needs to bring the present character back to his own timeline, and then everything will sort itself out. Yeah, it's starting to get confusing real fast. So I guess normal time travel logic doesn't exist here. If anything, the only consistent rule is that there are no rules. But maybe the easier explanation wasn't quantum time physics. Maybe the answer isn't in the how, maybe it's in the who. Notice how every reset is tied to SpongeBob's emotional reaction? He looks at a photo, realizes something's wrong, the photo gets corrected, and the world resets. That means the closet mirrors SpongeBob's memory, not time. It's a machine powered by nostalgia. Every time he restores a classic memory, the universe rewrites itself to match his scrapbook. Which sounds insane, but it actually fits best in this case. The closet isn't broken at all, it's doing exactly what it's designed to do. It's keeping SpongeBob's past consistent with its nostalgia. And that right there might be the real purpose of this episode. Because now that we've realized the closet represents the power to rewrite SpongeBob's history, you start to notice something bigger, someone else who's been doing the same thing for years. Nickelodeon. But if that's true, then maybe the timeline twist-up is confusing by design, because it's a confession. You know, the more I thought about it, the less this felt like a broken episode, and the more it felt like a goodbye. I mean, there's something oddly emotional about it. Seeing all those golden memories in their original color palette again. If you strip away all the logic problems and timeline loops, Timeline Twist-Up might not really be about time at all. What if it's about memory? About holding on so tightly to the past that it starts rewriting the present? Every time SpongeBob fixes a memory, the world reshapes to match it. But did it need fixing? Except for the GrandPat one? I don't think so. He's doing it because he can't stand to let the memory go. And honestly, neither can we. The photos in that scrapbook are anchors. Each one a version of his life that we, the fans, keep trying to protect, even when it doesn't fit anymore. Maybe that's why the episode feels so chaotic. That's what living in nostalgia feels like. You keep patching up the past to look like how you remember it, instead of facing how much it's changed. And that's when it hit me. The time closet could just be a metaphor for Nickelodeon itself. Every time the show gets rebooted, redesigned, every new canon for a new audience, they're all timeline rewrites. The Patrick Star Show, Camp Coral, the modern look, each one is trying to preserve SpongeBob's legacy, but it ends up warping it a little more each time. And all those fixed photos, they're just the show trying to remember itself. Maybe that's why SpongeBob looks so happy at the end, even when we know half the world's logic has collapsed. Because from his point of view, it's fine. His memories are back untouched. His photos are normal again. The world doesn't have to make sense as long as it feels like SpongeBob. And that's kind of beautiful and tragic at the same time. SpongeBob will always be resetting himself. That's his thing. He'll always rebuild Bikini Bottom no matter how many times it's rewritten, because that's what we want him to do. We want him frozen in that perfect moment. The pineapple house, the laughter, the jellyfish fields. Untouched, eternal. But every time we do that, we lose a little bit of what it used to be. Maybe Timeline Twist-Up isn't meant to be solved. Maybe it's Nickelodeon saying, we know we've changed SpongeBob. We know it doesn't all fit anymore, but he's still here, still smiling, still ready.
I'm ready!
Try to just live in the moments, and for once, you don't have to meddle with the past. And maybe that's enough. I will always choose harsh truth over sweet lies. I know how painful it is to deal with. We've seen it before, in another story about another man who spent his life rewriting his past until the lies became who he was. Mr. Krabs built an entire identity out of contradictions. Navy veteran, pirate, father, businessman. And in the end, it all collapsed under his own lies. So, if you haven't seen that video yet, the episode that solved the Krabs paradox, it's worth watching next. Because these two stories are connected in more ways than one. Both about men trapped in their own rewrites. One by greed, the other by memory. See you on the next dive.